Alright, hello and welcome back to King's Quest 6. Let's head back into town. And we will be making our way back to the pawn shop. Down here at the
Good
pawn
day.
shop. I don't know who this is.
For no apparent reason, Alexander's flesh crawls at the mere thought of touching the old man.
Fair enough, let's have a chat.
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it. It was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, I've still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there. It is a very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
Funny you should mention that.
What would you take for the map?
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
Oh, wouldn't you know it, we happen to have something that you find very valuable.
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Oops.
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. Ah, and a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind. And I'll remember about the map.
Well, this worked out pretty nicely. It was a very important
Suddenly,
moment.
the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
Suddenly he can't walk very well. He was doing just fine before the mint.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From
Note
the pawn
the lamp.
shop owner, he just abstained, just reprieved. He just got a magic map.
You fool! You've been eating those mints again. I ordered you to stop that.
Oops.
Yes, Master.
Now, what is this about a magic map?
With the map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly as I can.
I thought I took care of the only means of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them...
Guess we'll never know what they're being told. Although maybe we'll discover it in our travels. I'm just going to walk up here quickly. see if we can have a
The
chat.
girl is too far away to hold a conversation with Alexander.
If we come up here, are we close enough? Or is she just going to get yelled at
The
again?
girl is too far away to hold a conversation with Alexander.
Fair enough.
Are you out here again? Have you finished the chores I gave you?
Yes, stepmother. The house and the stables are clean.
Then start polishing the silverware! Do I have to tell you everything?
Yes, stepmother. Right away.
Truly does not seem like the best situation. Although that's not why I actually came up here. Came up here to trigger that event. So, as he mentioned, he was throwing out a lot of items from a wizard.
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
Yes, so we picked up a small bottle.
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty.
It appears to be empty. But is it? Dun, dun, dun. Alright, let's continue on. We will...
A nightingale perches on a high branch of the tree. She sings the most beautiful song Alexander has ever heard.
keep an eye on that nightingale for later. We could have addressed that right now, but now there's going to be something else that we'll have to do first, so we'll come back to it. We use our magic map here on the beach.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
We will now be able to travel to the other islands. Isle of the Sacred Mountain. Let's try that first.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
We're going to be hearing that line a lot. Got a couple of things on the ground here. See what looks like a flower.
Alexander picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor. For a moment, he can smell nothing else.
And this feather here.
Alexander takes the feather.
And let's eyeball this here.
There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
Ignorance kills wisdom. Now, we're not going to do all of this right now because I'm not quite ready for it, but this is part of the copyright infringement material that the game uses to ensure that you actually purchase the game and therefore have the book that goes along with it. The solution to this little, we'll call it a puzzle, but in reality it's not a puzzle. It's just proof that you actually bought the game, is Rise.
Huge blocks of stone erupt from the granite cliffs. Alexander stares with wonder. That's quite a way to welcome a guest, if indeed it is a welcome.
Sort of. So we can climb up here, but we're not going to. We'll again get our map out.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
That is the only thing we will do on this island for a little while. I'm going to head to the Isle of the Beast for a
Alexander
moment.
feels a strange pulling sensation.
You see a nice deer
The
here.
little fawn is feeding on a grassy hillock near the sea.
And if we try to head north, we will come to, ooh, look, a pot.
An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods.
And
A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
it appears a little too warm for us to cross right now. And thus, that is all we can do right now on the Isle of the Beast. Hopefully the Isle of
Alexander
Wonder
pulls out his...
offers us a little bit more.
Alexander feels a...
We don't need to hit that every time. Alright, the Isle of Wonder. Let's set off and explore. Actually, let's first come over here.
Alexander sees nothing of interest there.
Oh, I'm gonna have to walk. There we go. Let's have a little chat with this clam that looks like it's awake.
Why aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
Oh, goodness. I wonder why.
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
Fair enough. Let's take a look quickly. What do we have here again?
Alexander is carrying a book from the bargain table in the bookshop.
Let's give this a shot. Maybe you just need some good night reading.
If you're having trouble sleeping, perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Hey, that would be great.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by
We'll
the
have to
third
keep an eye on
of
this
cackle
clam
of
here
grouse geese,
as it gets
put over
tired.
the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
Alexander sees
little
nothing
slow.
of interest on that part of the oyster.
Thought we had a little more time, but he'll
Yields
keep
a
rambling
gilded minnow
some
of
boring
precise
nonsense.
measurements, 2,069 centidrills by 3,023 6/7 puns, not punts, as might be expected. This is not to say, however, in any sense whatsoever, that deviations in mean temperature of 5 or 6 dregs or so
Alexander sees nothing of interest on...
Oh, I missed.
indicate a fabrication or
Be a little more
derivation sufficiently
accurate
broad
than I
enough
have
to
been thus far.
exacerbate
Hopefully
the
we'll get it this
conclusions
time.
uncovered in due course with regards
But
to
I'm
the
certain that you
dimensions,
have seen this
consistency,
pearl
mass, or
here in the
thickness
center of the
inherent
clam's
in the
mouth.
menial suckling grouse.
Suckling grouse.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
Hey, you fixed my mouth. It feels great.
Ah, the little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
Very nice. Now, I'm going to pause and save quickly. Okay, and then I'm doing that just to make sure we don't make any mistakes here, because what we need to do with this...
A string of letters floats in the water. The letters spell out, "Where are you going?" Alexander's heard of alphabet soup, but this is ridiculous.
What we need to do here is wait until it... there we go. Floats a little closer, and then we can grab it.
Alexander picks up the object floating in the water. It appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete.
And, yeah, if you had tried to go out too far into the water, you would have been swept out in the current and drowned. But now let's explore the rest of the island. Nothing holding us back.
Alexander hears someone coming.
Or is there?
5 fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man, said he, with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If man it be, then man it dies.
Here we have 5 guardians, each of whom has a particularly powerful sense that they will use to discover whether or not we are a man. And we must try to trick them into thinking we are anything but. Looks like smell is first.
Control, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well.
All right, so what do we have that's smelly, but this very powerful smelling flower we just picked?
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
The flower of stench.
Tom Trow I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all, and nothing more.
Gross.
Listen, hark you, Grovenor. Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
All right, so we need something that's going to make some sound that is not human. So let's try this mechanical mockingbird.
Alexander
or mockingjay.
winds the tin nightingale and plays it for the gnome with the monumental ears.
Lovely little dance here.
A nose is not a way to spy. My ears cannot be told a lie. A nightingale is all there be. No man is near, and so say me.
So say me.
Taste, Grump, that we might know whether friend or whether foe.
So I need something with some taste, so let's try this mint, maybe.
Alexander holds the mint out for the gnome with the gigantic mouth.
Grump knows a tasty treat. It matters not what others bleat. No danger is this one so sweet.
I'd call something minty sweet,
Dilly,
but...
dilly, use your hand. Is it beast or is it man?
Beast, huh? Well, we got something that's pretty bestial.
Alexander holds the rabbit foot out for the gnome with the huge hands.
Be all you mad? What aileth thee? A bunny can't trill merrily. A hare does not at all taste sweet. A rabbit here is all we greet.
Old Bill Batter, never fatter. Vision can resolve this matter. Look you now and end this chatter.
Alright, so now we have a guy whose superpower is the fact that he has vision. And the solution to this is not exceptionally easy, but if we overturn this apparently empty bottle of ink, we will find it is not quite so empty.
Alexander pours the contents of the empty-looking ink bottle over himself.
By all that's beauteous, fair, and sightly, 4 morons do I sleep with nightly. There's nothing there at all, I say. Enough of this. Let's now away.
Aggressive. Alright, we have officially tricked the guardians of the
Alexander
Isle.
did it! He's fooled the guards!
I sounded so excited. He's fooled the guards. And now, we have some interesting things over here. Why don't we take a look? There's some bees.
Piles of stacked books, looking ready to topple at any moment, have been arranged haphazardly on the sandy ground.
Maybe I can take one. Whoa.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize these books had an owner. I'm in need of a rare book.
No owner? All books have owners, my good man. And this book owner, bookworm to you, wouldn't part with one of his books for anything.
Isn't there something I can do for you to pay for the book?
Let's see. Do you have an itinerant clause?
No. No clauses at all, I'm afraid.
As an exception, you always should.
A lot of verbal puns here.
Don't mind oxymoron and diphthong. They're fairly limited grammatical principles, you know. Let's see. A marsh pig that does Texas?
No. I'm afraid not.
A dangling participle?
I'm fresh out.
A purple fiddle whacker?
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
An idiosyncrasy, perhaps?
Afraid not.
Ha! Then what good are you?
We do have this sentence fragment we found. We could try that, maybe.
There's no reason to use that on a pile of books.
Fair enough. I guess maybe that won't do the trick. Let's look at this spider over here.
Wow. Hiya, gorgeous. Oh, what a luscious-looking hunk of flesh you are.
Thank you, I guess. Who are you?
How charming of you to pretend not to know. I'm Black Widow, of course. The femme fatale of all femme fatales. Know what I mean? You know, I was just thinking it was time I found my 50th, another husband. It would be quite a horror, an honor to have me as a bride. Just look at my beautiful weaving. It's so light, so delicate. You'll never want to leave my little nest.
It is a lovely web, but my heart is elsewhere, I'm afraid.
What a polite
Brat.
response. Not so much from her.
The loss is yours. I'm sure you'll change your mind once you consider the advantages.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at this piece of paper here.
That scrap of paper blew into my web from those books over there. The wind just thinks it can deposit anything here.
Alright, so we have this scrap
That
of paper,
scrap
huh?
of paper blew into my web from those books over there.
I'd like to grab it, but I think if we reach for it, we might meet somewhat of a bitter end, but we do have a loose thread here. Maybe we can...
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Oops.
Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it.
Love. Okay.
The wind blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand, but he remembers what it said well enough.
What about down here? Let's check out this book.
The
This one's
tail
open.
end of this island is a riotous scramble of books, sand, and a spider's web.
We poke at this one?
There's nothing to do there.
Look at any of these?
Piles of stacked books, looking ready to topple at any moment, have been arranged haphazardly on the sandy ground.
I guess that's all for now. We'll have to explore the rest of the island. See what we find up north. Not that they would interact more as I walked by. Let's go do some chatting. There's a creature here we can try and interact with.
My dear tree, is it true that your bark is worse than your bite?
I think it's a dogwood tree. We have a stick in the mud.
Alexander sees no point in trying to talk to that stick in the swamp.
And we have a bump on a log.
That bump on the log does not look particularly conversational to Alexander.
Fair enough. What if we try and pick up
The
the
bump
bump?
on the log does not look particularly interesting to Alexander.
Guess we'll have to just come back later. Maybe I can grab one of these.
Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush.
Maybe we can make use of that.
Apparently,
Oops, sorry. Apparently the dogwood bush doesn't like when we take its stuff. Let's see, nothing on the counter right now. What happens if we come over here? Ooh,
those snapdragons don't like Alexander getting so close.
fair enough, we'll keep that in mind. What do we have down here? This tomato looks a little different than the rest.
How did you manage to fall off the vine, Mr. Tomato?
What do you think? I'm old. I'm rotten. Yeah. Leave me alone.
If you say so.
After all, you're just gonna let me sit here and rot on this dry ground like everybody else, aren't you?
Why, I don't know. I suppose...
Ah, never mind. Just go away. Ah.
Oh, he seems so sad. Maybe we'll take him with us.
Hey, what do you think you're doing there? Get your hands off me. Hey!
Alexander picks up Rotten Tomato and puts him away. One never knows when one will need a rotten tomato.
Let's see, we can head up this way, and what's this over here?
Zounds! Those wallflowers sure are shy, and the snapdragons are awfully protective of them. Alexander can't even get close to the wallflowers without causing quite a stir.
Well now, that's a bit of an issue. What do we have over here?
Alexander picks a head of iceberg lettuce.
Ye gads! Is that cold?
Cold, huh? I feel like I could use that. Maybe if we hustle back to the Isle of the Beast, we'll be able to cool off that boiling pathway before this iceberg lettuce melts. Let's give it a shot.
Alexander pulls.
Isle of the Beast.
Alexander feels it.
What's this?
Alexander can't reach the little creature on the tree branch. It will have to come down on its own.
Is there anything to say?
Hello, friend. Aren't you an odd-looking little fellow?
I'm not odd-looking. You are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you could speak.
Speak not. Funny is, speech I am and nothing but.
This would be a dangling participle, and perhaps...
Alexander is carrying, oddly enough, a sentence. It says, "Where are you going?"
Perhaps this incomplete,
Alexander
incomplete thought could use an additional piece.
There's no reason to use that on the rock.
No, not on the rock.
Alexander holds the sentence out to the creature.
This sentence seems in need of an ending. Perhaps you could finish it?
Where are you going? Where are you going? Know what I do? Where are you going to? Like you, I do. Go I with you?
And because we have provided it with a sentence to attach to, this dangling participle has decided to travel with
that
us.
was certainly interesting. It looks like Alexander now has a passenger.
Before we go anywhere, let's step forward and toss this iceberg here into the hot pool.
Hoping to cool down the boiling pond, Alexander throws in a head of iceberg lettuce. The pond's water slowly stops boiling, cooled by the ice. It still looks hot, but bearable.
Let's see if we can go across now.
Alexander decides to brave the steaming pond.
Ouch! Ow! Ooh, 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 ouch!
The pond is no longer boiling, but it's hardly bathwater.
Let's see if we can reach this pot, or lamp rather.
Alexander takes the old hunter's lamp from the tree.
We'll have to keep that with us. Let's see if there's anything going on up here.
As Alexander continues down the path, He gets the strange feeling that he's being watched.
Come on over here and see what I'm doing with these flowers. Never mind that stone fella on top of the gate. He won't hurt you any. He's just there to scare you.
Yeah, I don't trust those sparkling eyes. I think I'm going to grab this stone.
Alexander picks up the brick.
I'm going to leave this terrifying-looking archer and scary gardener right where they are.
You aren't going to listen to me, are you? Well, we'll just see about that.
That's odd. The gardener just disappeared.
He's so trusting. That's odd. Alright, I think what we will do here is now head on back to
Alexander pulls.
the Isle of Wonder.
Alexander
We'll give the bookworm this dangling participle and hopefully get a rare book in exchange, after which I think we'll end the video and save the future adventures for next time.
That would serve no purpose.
Are you there, most venerable bookworm?
Do you have anything interesting yet?
A regular abnormality?
Let me see what I have.
Alright, you have this dangling participle he requested.
I found this little fellow lost on another island.
Coming home I am too.
There you are, you naughty boy. I told you not to leave the island.
Glad I am seeing you too.
A most solemn celebration.
I have no idea what that thing's supposed to be.
So, you found my dangling participle. I suppose I'll have to give you something. Let's see now. Was it a rare book you wanted?
If you'd be so
Yes,
kind.
sir.
Well, then none of these will do. They've been sitting in the sun far too long and must be well cooked by now. This one is far more rare. A delicious little tidbit.
Thanks.
Let's take a quick look, see what it is.
Alexander is carrying a rare book from the bookworm. The words in the binding are very faint. The something riddle book.
Riddles, huh? Let's see.
Alexander opens the rare book and looks inside. The book contains riddles and has a page missing. Alexander glances at a few of the conundrums, but finds himself more curious about the one that is missing. What was the riddle, he wonders? More importantly, what was the answer?
Well, it's a very specific looking page, and it just so happens to have the same border as the scrap of paper that we plucked from the spider's web. So perhaps that is something that will be of assistance to us in the future. But we will have to just wait and see. So we will end things here, and when we return, we will continue our adventures with Alexander in the land of the Green Isles. But until then, see ya.